Hey everybody, welcome back to Kayfabe Critique, to the first official episode of 2019. You can see his face on the screen, but now you can hear his voice through the phone. Jason, what's going on?
Man, I'm sitting here, got these car troubles. I ain't hit Powerball, so I couldn't afford to buy that new Aston Martin, so I'm just stuck at the house.
And of course, I'm David, and so with this first break into 2019 at Kayfabe Critique, we wanted to talk about what's going on right now in professional wrestling. There's a lot going on. Jason, just recently, though, last week, kind of a sad moment in wrestling.
Yeah, got the alert while I was at work that Mean Gene Okerlund had passed away, and it really rocked me because Mean Gene is one of the icons of my childhood. I mean, when you think about big moments in the history of professional wrestling, so many of them, Mean Gene was right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you look at back some of our episodes through our YouTube library, where like when we covered the eras of the WWE, when we talked about the territory system, Mean Gene was there for the territory system. He was there for the golden era of the WWE, the start of the new generation. He was there, a pivotal part of WCW as well during the Monday Night Wars. So yeah, Mean Gene was definitely part of it. I agree, like seeing that video package on Monday Night Raw, the tribute to him, was definitely touching. He was one of the voices of our childhood.
Yeah, man. When Hogan came out and got emotional, real talk, I got emotional too, because you think about it, on January 23rd, 1984, which we're coming up on the anniversary of, who was right there interviewing Hulk Hogan when he won the title?
Absolutely. Yeah, when you talk about other big moments, like we're going to be covering the NWO, who was the guy in the ring talking to Hulk Hogan at that time? It was Mean Gene.
Yep. And I just listened to What Happened When with Tony Schiavone and Conrad Thompson, and they were talking about his relationship with Ric Flair. I mean, he was there for a lot of Ric Flair's big moments. Ric Flair's first WWE title win, he was right there. I mean, you really can't say WWE or WCW through the mid to late 80s to the end of the demise of WCW without thinking about Mean Gene.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, this definitely a loss to professional wrestling. And definitely...
Oh my bad, I forgot to mention he's a fellow Cornhusker.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, definitely a loss there. Rest in peace to Mean Gene Okerlund. He was definitely one of a kind in the world of wrestling. But when talking about current, what's going on right now, you have two big things going on. It looks like WWE may be moving into a different direction. The McMahon family return. Vince, Shane, Stephanie, and Triple H to say that they're going to start listening to the crowd again. Returning and pushing to what the fans want. But at the same time, are we looking at potentially the start of another Monday Night War, not knowing if it'll be head-to-head, but definitely the start of another wrestling war as competition is emerging with AEW? Jason, what are you thinking of all this going on?
I'm excited. I mean, personally, I think that the fans have been wanting some kind of competition for WWE for some time now, because when they were getting their butts kicked by WCW, it made the product better, it made the wrestlers better, it gave us more stars, it made Monday Night Television destination TV, and now it's kind of lost that.
Yeah, absolutely. You look at 1997, 1998, the heat of competition between the two companies, and it brought out the best in everyone. So I'm definitely excited for that, just like you are. And AEW is already starting off with some pretty big signings. I mean, you have Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks and Chris Jericho.
Right. I mean, you've got first ever undisputed champion. I mean, Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks have been doing big things without the real aid of WWE. I'm curious to see what the Kenny Omega situation ends up like. You have a lot of people that say he doesn't need the WWE, which he really doesn't, but
And it's funny you mentioned bidding war, because one of the things about AEW that is very similar to the WCW days is the billionaire money behind it. AEW has the money to spend.
Right, and I mean, with anything in life, like getting my car fixed, it takes money. So, if they're coming in with financial backing, and I mean, hopefully they can find a TV deal, which
yes.
I'm pretty confident they'll be able to, because, I mean, the fact of the matter is, wrestling is selling.
Yeah, and I'm definitely with you on there. I know they're talking about their first show kicking off in May. I'm hoping they get a TV deal. I'm hoping it's not a streaming subscription service, because if it is, you know, they lose that exposure to a lot of people who aren't going to pay the money not knowing what it is. You know, you're going to really get just
right.
the hardcore wrestling fans in there, where if you come out on television as an alternative to WWE, you may get some guys who, girls also as well, I use that as a generic term, but you may get some fans who hadn't watched in a while turn over just to see what it is, just out of that curiosity, and maybe get some people to stick. And of course, you know, loyal WWE fans, you know, if it's free, we're probably tuned in to sample it as well. So I think that's probably the biggest opportunity for them, is getting that TV deal.
That and the fact that you've got some fans that are, I mean, you've got some WWE fans that, you know, Cody had some fans when he was in WWE, and he's got some fans that have followed him to WWE, followed him while he's been away from WWE, and he's got buzz, and the young bucks have got buzz of their own, and I'm curious to see, like I said, who else they end up signing, because these people that they're signing, I mean, they've got recognition. I mean, and having Jericho really gives them some legitimacy.
Yeah, absolutely. And not only that, but so the success of All In, you know, All In did well, considering the fact that, you know, it wasn't on free television, it wasn't on cable television, it was something people had to go in and pay for. You know, All In kind of defied the odds, and so now you're taking some of what created the success of All In and then backing it up with the financial ability to drive this into a truly mainstream product, which, you know, a lot of people are looking at the early days of TNA and thinking of, wow, this, you know, really could have gotten bigger, could have gotten fire had it gotten more attention. But remember, the early days of TNA especially, it didn't have the type of financial backing that AEW has.
Right. I mean, TNA was basically, I mean, to my knowledge, it was Jeff Jarrett and a few other people, and forget about Dixie.
Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, when people look at it now, they look at some of those guys that were there in the early days of TNA, you know, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, you know, Bobby Roode, CM Punk. You know, they look at some of these guys, you know, that ended up being big stars and still are big stars. And, you know, it really thinks, wow, if that financial backing could have been there, that could have been competition. But now AEW has what TNA didn't have.
Right. And again, competition is what brought the WWE its most success, and they won't say it, and maybe they will say it, I don't know, but it's natural to get a little complacent because you don't have somebody nipping at your heels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, with that, were they aware of the competition coming, and is that why it looks like WWE is moving into a new direction? I mean, just look at what they're doing with AJ Styles, with Seth Rollins. I mean, they're pushing Seth to be back the way where, when you read on the internet, the people who are truly fans of Seth Rollins, you know, they've been really looking for him to capture that 2015 magic again. And a lot of that had to do with the way his character was presented at that time. And so it looks like they're trying to reestablish that and also repackage AJ Styles. So, and they're promising new stories, new matches, new talent. You know, is this what's driving the change in WWE?
I definitely think that's part of it, because no matter what people may say about not having their eyes on the competition, they've got their eyes on the competition, and the numbers don't lie. I mean, the ratings are down, without question. Some of these other programming like AEW and All In have really started to make a more noticeable impact, and you have to acknowledge that at some point.
Yeah, and I think definitely as big as a corporation as the WWE is, it's no longer just a family-owned company. It's a publicly traded company. And so you have to have people in there and, watching as trademarks are filed, as, paperwork's filed. And so they have to have people, lawyers or something, letting them know, like, hey, there's been new paperwork filed, there's a new competition coming. So I'm sure they were well aware of it before we were.
Right. And I think that I feel like they had a pulse for what was going on, because the stock price, with my stock, it went from like 90 something bucks down into the 60s, so it started to drop. I don't know how much that was stock market or what, but you could just get the sense that there just wasn't a lot of excitement around the product.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so my goal, I would hope that I definitely want to see the change in WWE keep going. I'm excited about, Seth Rollins returning back to that old form. I'm excited to see what they're going to do with AJ Styles. I'm liking the new Daniel Bryan. So hopefully this is going to bring out the best in the WWE. And for AEW personally, I hope they get the TV deal, but I hope it's not on Monday nights. I'd like to see it on another night so the fans can truly enjoy both and really bring out the best and just grow the business overall again.
Right, because the fact of the matter is, wrestling fans, we're our own little family, and regardless of if you work for one company or the other, you cross paths. Most of you guys have crossed paths with each other at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And we want everybody. There's enough out here for everybody to get a little piece of the money. Vince ain't struggling. Stephanie, Shane, ain't none of them struggling. So it's enough money out there for everybody to get a piece.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm, interested to see what all signings come out of AEW. Are they going to, pick up stuff like from Ring of Honor? Are they going to go in, pull people from Japan, other markets that may not have had that big time exposure before and get them on? So this is definitely going to be an exciting, next 4-month stretch leading up to their debut.
Right. Now, we would not do justice to talking about the current state of WWE without talking about the man. And for those of you who have been under some rock, the man that we're referring to is a man named Becky Lynch.
Mm-hmm.
She has, I've literally never seen anything like this.
Yeah, the appeal that she has right now is reminding me of the early Stone Cold days. It's just that groundswell within the crowd that, she's getting big and almost so big that she's polarizing the rest of the cast.
We're going to talk about it in a little bit, but what she did when she came out there with Cena, I couldn't imagine that happening if you told me that was going to happen this time last year, I would have thought you were crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just wouldn't have seen it happening. But she has, it's like she's got a little Stone Cold, she got a little bit of that CM Punk vibe. Well, let me not disrespect the man that way, because she really has, she's got her own thing going.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think she's copying off anyone or trying to borrow from anything done before. And the comparison that I made to Stone Cold was really just more about the crowd reaction, because
Right.
You don't see that type of...
Right. She's not biting off anybody's style. She's just being who she is, and the fans are gravitating to it, and she's connecting with the fans in such a way that it's exciting because I don't want to. Well, it's exciting, and it's exciting because it's a different. It's not the typical character, if you will, because usually this type of character that gets over like this that we've seen, let's just say it, has been an actual guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, anyone can look at Becky Lynch and know that she is a female.
Yeah,
and she's an ass kicker, though.
Yeah, and when we're talking about the crowd reaction that she's getting, granted we see spots every once in a while, or we see, like, you know, when Ronda Rousey debuted, the big pop that she got coming out. But not only is Becky getting those big pops, but she's getting them continuously. Every time she comes out, she's getting those pops. When her name's mentioned, she's getting those pops. I haven't seen anything like this since the Attitude Era.
Right. And, I mean, they're chanting, "We want Becky" during guys matches.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. She is definitely at another level right now, and I'm hoping that is truly capitalized on going into the Royal Rumble, which, you know, she's got a big spot right now in the Rumble.
I mean, the best we can hope for is that nobody gets hurt before WrestleMania, because this Becky Ronda match has the potential to be as big as anything. It has the potential to dwarf the men's main event.
Yeah, I'm personally thinking it's going to be
the first women to main event WrestleMania. And
that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we might be looking at Ronda versus Becky versus Charlotte, a triple threat match that actually headlines WrestleMania this year.
I mean, I wouldn't complain.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen what can happen, what the three of them are capable of doing. You know, Ronda Rousey brings some star power. Becky Lynch is bringing a huge fan following. Charlotte can deliver and steal the show over and over again. I mean, how could that not main event WrestleMania? And if it does, who would be disappointed in that?
I don't think anybody would be disappointed in that. And considering the state of the Universal Championship, I don't think I want to see, unless Seth is in that match, I don't want to see that go on live. Yeah,
I mean, the only match that, and, you know, typically, like, yeah, you've had, you know, women main events, but some of them have almost felt forced to just have it as a main event, where this, I believe this match deserves the main event spot. Not saying the other ones didn't, but I think this one, by fan demand, is your main event. The only match I can think of that may be bigger is if somehow, some way, we're looking at a Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles.
That potentially is about the only thing other than a big name part-timer coming back. Like, I mean...
Yeah, like The Rock or something.
Yeah, if The Rock came back and did a match with someone, I don't even think he would be... I honestly don't even think he would be in the main event at this point, because the buzz on Becky right now, if you put her in the main event, that thing is going to... I mean, that thing is going to cross over. I mean, I'm surprised she hasn't been on ESPN yet.
Yeah, I mean, the only, other than AJ and Seth, would be, you know, a dream match if CM Punk somehow suddenly returns and goes after Daniel Bryan again. So.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm not ruling that out, because if Warrior can come back, anything's possible.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, right now, this is an exciting time for wrestling. You know, WWE looks like it's changing course. In the past, when WWE has changed course, it's usually resulted in something good. You know, we get a good run out of it. I personally am wondering if the news of competition was coming, you know, drove that. I'm curious as well when it comes to AEW, you know, who are they going to sign? You know, we've been also hearing that do something to wrestle with, as well as 83 weeks. We know Bruce Pritchard and Eric Bischoff have both been working on something but haven't been announced yet. Could that be that they are both somehow tied into, AEW as well? We know Conrad was there to help MC the opening show, to help kick it off. So I'm excited right now with the state of wrestling.
I mean, I'm excited to see what ends up happening, and I'm curious to see, how this Kenny Omega thing. This is almost like the wrestling equivalent of LeBron making a free agency decision. Mm-hmm. Because where he goes, he's gonna take a lot of fans with him. And I know that WWE is looking at him. I know AEW is looking at him. There's probably not a wrestling organization in the world that's not looking at him. Mm-hmm. So I'm curious to see what he decides, what he ends up doing, because that also is going to shape the direction of both organizations for the time to come, for a long time to come.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, that's where we're sitting right now with the current state of wrestling. We know we normally don't cover this type of topic, but we wanted to hit you with that to start the year.
Yeah, I do want to talk about the Universal title a little bit more, because I can't think of a time when I've been so unexcited about the title on Raw. I'm more excited about like the IC title, the women's title, the Universal title being. It just feels like Brock has lost some of that buzz.
He has, and we had talked about that before. Like when you found out Roman Reigns was injured, that like I stated at that time, that was a perfect opportunity to just kick off a tournament and go in a completely different direction. Instead of putting the belt back on Brock, you could have thrown the title on Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, anyone went in a completely different direction. Brock's not being there pulls away from the excitement. We've seen Brock versus Braun before. It's not carrying that level of excitement.
Yeah, it doesn't work. At least not to me. Maybe to some of the fans, it works. And don't get me wrong, I do understand the logic of not having Brock on there every week, because you want his appearances to be special. Mm-hmm. But when he's there, he really doesn't do much of anything except for stand.
Right, and I'm good with him being a special attraction, but I don't feel your title should be a special attraction. So you can have him a special attraction and not have the Universal title around his waist.
Right. And I think that they just panicked because of what happened with Roman, and they panicked to the degree that they didn't think, okay, maybe we could do a tournament, or maybe they are trying to save putting the title on Seth or Finn or somebody like that at WrestleMania. So
yeah, and I understand that you had a main event announced for Crown Jewel, but like you and I had talked when I was saying, this is your perfect chance to set it up, the 20th anniversary of Survivor Series 98, to set it up the same way where Brock and Braun were left in the ring, neither one of them get the victory. They knocked each other out and lead to Survivor Series 2018 to be a tournament just like 98 was. So, but yeah, I am definitely in agreement with you. I think the Universal title is definitely probably the least exciting thing on Raw right now.
Yeah, but thank God for Becky.
Yeah, absolutely. So stick around. We're going to bring one other episode tonight as we're loading up 2019. We're going to bring the first episode of Backseat Booker. So stick around, everybody.
Stick around.